This is our 20th annual Education and Career Expo, and we want to thank all the employers, the Valley businesses, and the programs of study. Just so you know, we have 16 Valley businesses joining us over the next 2 days, along with 43 programs of study, giving you all the students an opportunity to learn about the educational opportunities along with the business opportunities that you may have here in the Rio Grande Valley. So thank you for joining us. At the end of the session, make sure to scan the QR code, tell us how we did. We have 4 Chromebooks that we'll be raffling off, along with 2 wireless HP printers. So go ahead and do that. But without further ado, I'd like to get it back to start with our presenters. And our first presenter for today, this afternoon, for the Law and Public Service Cluster is Game Warden Juan Rosendo from Texas Parks and Wildlife. So Juan, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for joining us.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So my name is Juan Rosendo. I'm a game warden out of Cameron County. Background of myself, I'm born and raised in Brownsville. Went to University of Texas at Brownsville in sophomore college when it was that. Got a degree in criminal justice, police administration. And I currently am employed by Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. I'm out of Austin, Texas. That's where our headquarters is at. And my role in my department is I'm a game warden. I'm a police officer, state police officer. So the type of career I'm in is I'm a police officer. I'm a game warden. But our focus is hunting, fishing, and boating laws. That's what we focus on. But at the same time, we enforce any other laws that there is in the state, and also federal laws on land and offshore. So we can enforce anything that goes out in the Gulf of Mexico up to 200 miles offshore, and then anything on land. So I'm based out of Cameron County, been here for 4 years. Before this, I was stationed in Maverick County, which is in Eagle Pass. It's a small city. The only thing that people know from there is the casino that's there. It's a big hunting county. So most of my work was hunting related. And I'm a game warden too now. When you graduate out of the Game Warden Academy, you start as a probation officer, a probationary game warden, then you start off a game warden 1, then a game warden 2 after you hit your 4 years. So since I've been on about 6 years now, I'm a game warden 2. So kind of the skills that you need to learn now to be a game warden, a lot of it you do learn as the job goes. You do go to a game warden police academy for 7 months, and that's where you learn the bulk of your knowledge for the field. But one thing I do stress a lot to younger kids in college and that are planning to have a career in law enforcement, specifically in game warden, is to stay out of trouble. That's a big thing. When we do backgrounds and stuff like that for you, we look up everything you've done in the past, all your tickets. We talk to your school teachers and stuff like that. We talk to neighbors, friends of your friends that you don't think we would find. We find and talk to them. So you just make sure, just stay out of trouble. If you know how to hunt and fish, that's great. If not, it really doesn't matter. If you don't know how to drive a boat, that doesn't matter either. If you don't know how to back up a trailer, that really doesn't matter. A lot of that you do learn as you progress in your career. When I started, the only thing I ever did was fishing. I never hunted anything. I never drove a boat in my life, and I never backed up a trailer. And now that's all I do is back up boat trailers, drive boats, and do a lot of hunting and fishing. The perks of the job. So one of the things that's really important for me in my eyes is, like I said, is just staying out of trouble when you're in college and high school and stuff like that. Because that stuff, anything in your record does follow you to your trying to apply whatever type of job, especially law enforcement. If you do have any type of misdemeanor charges or felony charges, sometimes it makes it difficult to become a police officer, just because the license that you do require for it, you can't have anything higher than a Class C, which is kind of like a speeding ticket and stuff like that. So if you have anything higher than that, then that's when you have kind of issues. You're gonna have to get an attorney and stuff like that to get that taken from your record. Um, but like I said, um, it's just getting through the process. If you do apply to be a game warden, a lot of people that don't know how to swim, like if you do go through the process, the swimming portion of the physical readiness test is the difficult part. It's very intensive and very stressful on the individual. So if you're trying to get through this, just make sure and swim a little bit. Your interviewing skills. I've been part of interview boards for internships and hiring to become a game warden. And one of the big things is that individuals cannot interview, or they don't have enough life experiences to conduct an interview or go through an interview. Sometimes I've interviewed police officers from all over the country, actually, and they cannot elaborate or they can't speak on what they've done. So they really have issues of trying to get through an interview, and that really hurts their chances of getting through, because you have someone that can really interview and get through that part. It really stands out, the people that were going to move forward to the hiring process. But other than that, just the big thing, just stay out of trouble. That's what I would recommend, especially being down here. I'm in the border. It's easy to get caught up in bad things.
So far, no questions. Mr. Rosendo, I think I heard you say that being a game warden does require a 4-year college degree.
Yes, it's a prerequisite to even apply.
Okay.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
And then secondly, the other thing that I did, I watched that TV show. Maybe most of us watched Lone Star Law. How did the academy, your first time dealing with an alligator, was that pretty fun?
Yeah, that's probably some of the funnest things we do. We deal with that wildlife stuff like that, and it is true. The biggest alligator I've had to wrestle is about 13 foot long. About 400 pounds. It was in someone's backyard in San Benito. They got out of Arasaka after a flood, and it was laying right next to their dog. Luckily, I don't know how to eat their dog, but they're out here quite a bit. So, and they actually do train us on how to wrestle alligators in the academy, believe it or not. And also the 4-year degree, like I said, it's something that not a lot of agencies require. We're pretty much one of the few that do require it, so that really gets a lot of people out of the interview, out of the application process, just because they don't have that degree. And like the degree can be in anything: teaching, business, law enforcement, or whatever you want, as long as you have a 4-year degree.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I don't see any questions in the chat, Mr. Rosendo. Definitely appreciate your time with us. I know hunting season's coming up, so be safe out there, you and the fellow wardens. But I think you put us right in the next segue for, let's see, is there an age limit for applying?
As long as you're 20 and a half years old, because you can't carry a pistol if you're not 21. So as long as you're 20 and a half when you're applying, you turn 21 in the academy, you'll be okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Rosendo. Like I said, you led us into the next segue in regards to an attorney talking about, trying to get some work done. So thank you. Be safe out there, Mr. Rosendo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Next up, we have attorney Ryan C. Solis, who is law office of Ryan C. Solis, and also RGV LEAD board member. So Mr. Solis, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ryan Solis, and I'm an attorney. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Raymondville. I live in McAllen. I have now for some time. I am married. I've got 3 kids. Been an attorney for about 17 years now, which is kind of hard to believe. I went to school at Pan Am, which is now UT RGV, and then went to law school at St. Mary's in San Antonio. Law school is 3 years, and then when you get out, you sit for the bar, study for the bar, and then once you take that and pass that, then you're a licensed attorney. When I went out on my own, I did a lot of different type of law. I went out on my own shortly after passing the bar, which was really neat because it gave me kind of a wide range of experience and knowledge in the law. However, for some time now, I've been focusing almost exclusively in accidents, injuries resulting from accidents, death cases as well, that kind of stuff. So I have an office in Raymondville and an office in McAllen. Got a tremendous team that helps me with everything. Certainly wouldn't be able to do what I do without them. So I'm very, very appreciative of that. As the owner of the business, I kind of oversee everything. But like I said, I've got a tremendous team that really helps with a lot of that. As far as types of careers at the place of businesses relate, most of the employees that start off with me generally will start off as a receptionist or as a lower level position. Don't need to have necessarily any legal experience or anything. When I'm looking for somebody, I'm looking for work ethic, intelligence, and drive. I figure that I can go ahead and train people on the nuances and everything associated with law and everything that we do here. But it's hard to teach somebody work ethic. It's hard to teach somebody drive. And so those are two things that I definitely look at whenever I'm looking to hire either an employee here or even an intern. We've had a number of interns over the years that have come through here, and those are certainly some of the things that we look at when we're considering somebody to come here into the office. As far as what do you need to be a lawyer, you obviously have to graduate from college, and it doesn't necessarily matter what degree you get, just so long as you graduate. When I went to law school, had a number of friends that were engineers, accountants. They had business degrees, history degrees, political science degrees. Just so long as you study for the LSAT, which is a test that you'll need to get into law school. Those are essentially the only requirements. I graduated in 2004 from St. Mary's, and one of the more successful attorneys, she was a softball coach actually before going to law school, and does insanely well for herself. So it doesn't really matter what it is that you get your degree in. As skills that are important to be a lawyer are communication, primarily, both oral and written. I think with technology now, texting and everything else like that, a lot of people, myself included, sometimes prefer to text as opposed to actually picking up the phone and talking to somebody. And so in this line of work, you're an advocate, you're representing other people, you're speaking for other people. And so your ability to do that and to do that well is incredibly important. And so what I would recommend to people is to definitely hone up on those skills. Talk to people outside of your comfort zone. Talk to people that are perhaps, older than you, or some that you may feel even, for whatever reason, intimidated by. Practice that. Practice speaking in front of people. Practice, your public speaking, because of course, when you go to court, if you're in front of a judge or if you're in front of a jury, you're going to need to be comfortable in that. And that's much easier said than done. When I first started, that was something that I struggled with as well. But of course, over time, it helps. But that's definitely something I would recommend. Also, writing, I think, is incredibly important. I think that's a skill that is not as common. I see it actually in my own children. I'm on them a lot about that, because a lot of times, through texting and whatnot, we kind of lose sight of that ability to communicate in writing. And so that's something that I would recommend for people who are wanting to get into law. My kids hate, they when I say this, but I would recommend reading is really the only thing. I think that's something that doesn't happen as often as it used to. And I think a lot is lost from that, because some really, really incredible authors have come before us, and their ability to put sentences together, to put paragraphs together in very compelling and convincing ways are things that I think if people were to learn from and study, that can help you be a better advocate. That can help you better advocate on behalf of your clients. And so, reading is certainly something that I think I would certainly recommend that to anybody. I just think that that's good. Tips that I have, interviewing and whatnot. When you go into an interview, you know, some of you all may come before, have an internship, an interview for that before an actual, you know, applying to a law firm or whatever the case may be. I would know a little bit about your potential employer before going in. Do some research, find out what it is exactly that they do. That distinguishes you. If you've got 10 or 15 people that are coming in for an interview, and one person is familiar, has shown that they've taken the time, the initiative to actually get to learn and understand what the employer or prospective employer does, that will certainly distinguish yourself. Another thing that I would do as well is have a couple of questions already in mind that you're going to ask, you know, relevant questions as well. Because if you think about it, you're essentially trading your time, your services for either the experience you're going to get there, or and sometimes for money. I mean, that's essentially what the basis of employment is, your skills for in exchange for cash. And so you want to make sure that it's a good fit for you as well, not just for the employer, but you know, you want to make sure that it's a good, worthwhile experience for you and something that's going to benefit you in the long run. So I immensely enjoy practicing law, being a lawyer. One of the things that inspired me growing up was coming from a small town and seeing, you know, just kind of people getting taken advantage of because of their ignorance of the law, if you will, or because of their stature in the community. And that was something that motivated me. The cool thing about the law is that, you know, everybody's equal in the eyes of the law. When you go into court, it doesn't matter how big of a company this is or how many people this person knows or whatever the case may be. Everybody's equal in the eyes of the law. And so it's really neat to be in that position to advocate on behalf of people who might otherwise not be able to do it for themselves. And so it's something that I you know, immensely enjoy. I love coming to work every day. I love what I do. Just kind of get to live my dream, really, something I've wanted to do for as long as I can remember. And so really blessed to be able to do that. But yeah, if that's kind of in a nutshell, I don't want to go over time. So if there's any questions that anybody has, I'd be happy to answer those.
Yeah, I don't see any questions in the chat or on the YouTube stream, Ryan. We definitely appreciate you. Students, what you'll notice from a lot of these individuals is that not only are they in their professional, but they're also giving service back to their communities. And I know Ryan is a great example of that, along with many of the folks that we've had on here. They give back, whether through philanthropic donations or through service or, you know, just in time of need. So Ryan, I know as sitting on as a board member, being able to see the items that he's been able to do for, you know, communities that are struggling during the floods, or, you know, just odds and ends. Recently, he had just a raffle drawing of Cowboys memorabilia, you know, just giving back to the community. And that's what it's all about. Just because you get to where, you know, the goal, what you want, you know, for his attorney, he's still giving back to his community, letting them know that he's there to serve. And that's what it's all about, service above self. So Ryan, we definitely appreciate you taking the time and being with us. If there's any questions throughout the rest of the session, we'll follow up and get an email to you and get back to the students. So Ryan, thank you so much for what you do. And you have a great day.
Thanks for having me. You too.
All right. Well, next we have from Vanguard Academy, we have school counselor Nancy Gomez.
Hi, everyone. Hi, students. I know there's an audience watching right now. It's such a privilege to be here. I am working currently for Vanguard Academy under the amazing leadership of Dr. Narciso Garcia, who has taken Vanguard Academy to the next step. I do want to share about the education sector. I think it's a sector, as a school counselor, a lot of kids are like, oh no, not education. So I do want to talk about the opportunities that are in education at the moment, opportunities that are growing, career opportunities at different levels. I'm all about, you know, students. I know that we all have varied abilities. I truly believe that God has given us all different gifts. And when we do something that we love, we can excel at it, and it can be our passion on a day-to-day basis. And so again, I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint at this moment and then go over some of the topics that I'm going to be discussing today. Okay, great. So a little bit about me and how I got started in this. I think that, at least for myself, I can speak for myself and say that I never first saw a future in counseling. It's kind of something that developed over time. So I did graduate from Edinburgh North High School in 2008. I was born in Dallas, Texas, but raised in Edinburgh. So I am a Dallas Cowboy fan, just putting that out there. I graduated from UTPA, which is now UTRGV, in 2011, and I focused on a bachelor's in rehabilitative studies. My emphasis the entire time was to focus on individuals with disabilities. I always had a passion for it. My oldest brother has a disability, and it was something that I felt in my heart to study. Then ultimately, I began my educational career in 2011, which I was 21 years old. I began teaching as a special education teacher. My bachelor's in rehabilitative studies led me to that. Then as I taught for about 5 years, I did earn my master's in school counseling from Lamar University, which is located in Lubbock. And shortly thereafter, 3 years later, I decided to go ahead and earn my certificate in educational leadership from Lamar to essentially one day, if I wanted to pursue assistant principal position, or even something higher at a administrative level. I did work for 5 years, like I said, in special education and mathematics, right? An area that a lot of kids don't like. I know I would always get kids in my classroom, oh, I don't like math, miss. So it was my goal to get kids to love math. And right now I'm currently in my 5th year as a school counselor for Vanguard Academy. I work in Mozart Secondary Early College High School in Alamo, Texas, where we serve grade students from 6 to 12. So what is my role? I know that counselors have many, many hats that we wear. No pun intended that I am actually wearing a hat today. We are Red Ribbon Week celebrating, so we get to wear caps today. But we do wear many hats. And one of the main, or a general role that we play, is making sure that students are successful in their academics, in their career development, helping you all find out what you want to do when you grow up. You know, we see all these amazing careers this afternoon and all these different pathways that are available. And a lot of kids right now are asking themselves, I don't even know what I want to study. I don't know what I want to do when I graduate from high school. And that's where school counselors come in, and we work with people like RGV LEAD. We work with companies like Texas Workforce. We work with so many different entities to help you align those goals, because we want to make sure that you leave high school with an idea of what you want to study, and align you to even pathways and certificates that you can get in high school to prepare you for the post-secondary life. So we help you in career development, social, emotional, and just making sure that you're well-adjusted adults of tomorrow. So some of the jobs available right now, education is kind of, I feel under magnifying glass. There's lots of opportunities. If you look, students, if you go to for jobs in different ISDs, there are positions available. We have from custodians to secretaries, substitutes. Right now, we need substitutes so badly. So if you're getting ready to graduate and you need a job after high school, and you're not sure what you can do to kind of work with your schedule while you go to the university, and you're aiming to be an attorney, or you're aiming to be a game warden, or anything, any career, substituting is a great way to have your schedule, and we definitely need them at the moment. College student tutors, another great job you can take on while you go to college, while you attend the schools, to have a part-time job and get those hours in. We need paraprofessionals, and more than anything, we do need teachers. So some of the skills that are needed, the degrees for these positions, and I kind of stack them from the, the entry level all the way to the highest. For a custodian, a secretary, or tutor positions, all you need is a high school diploma or GED. So if you're out of high school, you're a senior, you don't know what you're going to do, or what kind of job, a part-time job, these are definitely jobs that are available for students that just graduated. You go onto our school district websites. We have many districts around the region, and you apply. And as long as you have your high school diploma, GED, they will consider you. You know, you have those opportunities to interview. For substituting, some require certificates. Through Region 1, you can go and apply through SubHub, and they give you a little bit of training, and you can help us out in substituting. For paraprofessional positions, these are teaching assistants. They help out our teachers, some college and associate's degrees, and you can already be in the classroom getting that experience. For teaching positions, we have teachers that have bachelor's degrees and certifications. That's all you need. So you would get your bachelor's, and then you would do either you could do the education pathway at the university, or if you don't, you can do an alternative certification program, take an exam so you can become a certified teacher. Of course, for accounting positions like myself or anything administrative, like a licensed school psychologist, which we also need, high demand job, a principal, an assistant principal, you need a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and you have to also take a certification test to be certified in these areas. And for all these positions, I always love to talk to my students, my high school students that I see day in and day out, soft skills. Just like our previous employers mentioned, student soft skills are critical. I think it is one of the foundational needs that we need to have in all students, because these take you a long way. Like our attorney said, Attorney Solis, you can teach work ethic, you can teach drive. And I think there's foundational skills that we need that we find in soft skills. And soft skills are things like collaboration. How do you work with others? How do you communicate? You know, like you said, written or even oral speaking, being able to communicate with others what's going on in your job, how to problem solve. Are you able to have a task or a situation that you're going to be able to manage? Leadership. What kind of a person are you? You know, do you take initiative? Do you take drive, you know, to do the job that's required and go above and beyond? Decisiveness, you know, ability to work under pressure. This is a big one. Time management. Are you someone that likes to procrastinate? I've procrastinated, so I'm not going to act like I don't from time to time. But deadlines become sometimes your biggest priorities when you're in a job. How do you manage your time? And so all these things, you know, conflict resolution, that's so important. Are you someone that is able to find peace everywhere you go? Are you a peacemaker? So these are all skills, again, that you don't learn at the high school level. You don't learn at the university level, but these are skills that you need to ask yourself, where do I land? What kind of skills do I have to offer in terms of soft skills? Because these skills will help you excel no matter at what level you choose to apply to yourself. You want to be a custodian all the way to a principal of a campus, the superintendent of a school. The soft skills are applicable in every area. And of course, last but not least, interview tips. Oh, I love interviews. I always tell people I love interviews, and like, that's so weird. I hate interviews. I get so nervous. Well, for me, I'm with the guidance of a lot of, you know, very successful people. I've gathered together some tips and things that I've done in the past that have helped me in interviews. So the number one is get experience. If you're interested in becoming, you know, a game warden or an attorney, start internships, not just at schools, but in the area that you're interested in. If you want to be an educator, start an internship. When you're in college, you know, see how you can get your feet wet. Become a tutor, maybe a part-time job. How is it like in schools? Is it as good as I think it is? Am I going to like it? Do community service. Like Mr. Rodriguez says, let's give back. And in that giving back, you're learning about the role that you're wanting to play in this career that you're maybe going to consider to do for the rest of your life. Another very important key point in an interview is do research at the place of employment you're interested in. Look at their mission and vision statement. Look at what it is. What are the goals that they want to attain for their company? You go in there and you state what you know that their mission is and how you align to their mission and how you're going to help them achieve those goals. They will be very interested in hiring you as someone for their company or for their place of business. It's important that you do the research on where you're going and who they are. Demonstrate the skills you have and share them. If you're bilingual and they ask you, so can you share with us any skills that you have? He says, yes, I'm bilingual. And they ask you, okay, so you speak English and Spanish? And you say, yes. Excuse me. Then you go ahead and speak in the Spanish language. So that's one of the things that I did. I remember they asked me and I said, sí, yo me llamo Nancy Gomez, estoy interesada en esta escuela. And right away they were like, wow, you're not just telling us, you're showing us. So demonstrating is a very good skill. Technology skills. My young ones, these generations that are coming up, you all are phenomenal with technology. And I'm sorry, but technology is leaving me behind and I'm only 32 years old. So any skills that you have, and oh, I know how to incorporate this app. I know how to use Photoshop. I know how to use this app on the phone that is helping students, you know, learn better. You do your research. You know, I know how to make videos and edit them and put together videos for the school. Those are skills that we want to hear you have because they just make you more marketable and being able to use more of your talents in the workplace. And of course, knowing how to use computers, if you're good in Microsoft, if you're good in Excel, all those things come in handy because at 32 years old, I sometimes become the technology person when some of my coworkers need assistance. And now I'm finding myself going to my younger coworkers. So it kind of trades off. And then the last but not least, share any certifications or trainings you have. A lot of you in high school, you're working towards a certificate. Some of you may get your CPR. Some of you may get a certificate in computer skills. Some of you may be substitute certificates right out of high school, pharmacy techs. Share this information because they can come in handy and they just, again, make you more marketable as an individual. And one last thing is share and always have questions ready that are going to align and be intentional to the place where you want to work. It's super important, that you show an interest. Of course, without asking some of the questions that we know are a little taboo, like how much will I make? Things like that, but questions that are going to be geared towards the interest, such as, if I was to get hired for this job, what are the expectations you have of your employees? And that you give an opportunity for the employee to share what their expectations are and that they see that you're interested in aligning to those expectations. So that's all I have for today. I challenge you, and I always stress, and I tell my kids, look into education. We have so many opportunities, and there's such growth and need right now that we would be so blessed to have this growing generation of young men and women to help us, continue to produce the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez. We definitely appreciate your time and sharing the information with the students that are joining us about, the education and training career cluster. It is a necessity. Like you said, right now we're seeing a lot of school districts that are hiring substitute teachers and paraprofessionals and teachers, that are retired and trying to bring them back. We know there's a need. So we definitely appreciate you joining us and Vanguard Academy as a member district of RGV LEAD, and Dr. Garcia for sitting on the RGV LEAD board. So definitely great presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, we'll follow up. I don't see any right now that are in the chat. So I'm going to continue down with our next presenter from South Texas College talking about public administration. We have Diana Lucio. Miss Lucio, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So today I want to talk to you about the public administration program. I'm a faculty member with the program, and just a little background on myself. Public administration has definitely done a lot for me in terms of my education and also in the work experience. And now here as an instructor at STC, sharing my knowledge and background experience with our future leaders here in the Valley. So I'll start with information on the program and then share a little bit more about myself as we move on through the. So this is, we have the certificate in public administration, the associate's degree in public administration, and all of these are transferable over to our bachelor's programs here at STC, either the bachelor's in organizational leadership or the bachelor's in technology management. So it's very much a stackable degree, so that wherever you are, and I want to say kudos to all the presenters that have come before me, is that you can go into substitute teaching, or if you want to expose yourself to working in an office, this is definitely something that's going to pair very well with those areas. So definitely want to say that you can jump into a certificate and also continue working. I know a lot of our adult learners right now here at STC, that's what they work, and they go to school with us. So definitely, if you want to work while going to college, that's definitely something that we make available here for you and we accommodate for. So there is a need for public administration. And as I mentioned before, a lot of these careers mentioned before, this is definitely something that can pair with that. It's stackable. And just to give you a breakdown here in the Valley, we do have more of a need than Texas or the nation. We're at 16%. And as a matter of fact, the highest employer in public administration, the largest employer, is actually Hidalgo County, the organization. And these are some careers, aside from the presenters that have been here, these are some areas that you could go into. We have city administrators, you have community education and outreach, you have social service with child welfare and adult welfare, and in public health as well. You don't have to be a nurse or a doctor for public health. I can attest to that. I worked at the Parkland Hospital up in Dallas, Texas, for many years in the area of community development. So definitely, it's one of those public administration degree. It's one of those that you can definitely, find your path in whatever your interest is. Want to go through the actual degree plan for you and how that breaks up. So as I mentioned before, the certificate is 24-hour credits. We do have a pathway where you could go through that in 9 months. You could get your certificate in public administration, also as known as public service. The associate's degree, if you decide, you know what, I want to continue on and gain my associates, it's 60 credits. So on top of the 24 that you would complete, you would just have 39 more to go for the associate's degree. And that can be done in 2 years or less, depending on your time frame, whether you want to go part-time or full-time. And then all of those 60 credit hours would transfer over to the bachelor's in organizational leadership, which is a total of 120 hours. So yes, we do have bachelor's programs over at STC. We have a total of 5. And this is the certificate, the courses with a certificate. And as you can see, it covers a broad range of areas. The focus is on project management with an emphasis on public administration, where you'll be able to complete a project from beginning to end. And if you look at these courses that are being offered, it covers the gamut to where it covers public administration, that's the introductory course, the governmental agencies, public relations, as mentioned before by some of the speakers, public speaking is very important in many of the areas. And ethics in public sector, because of course that's very important for us working as public servants. Budgeting as well. You have human resources management, public sector management, and finally the capstone. One of the interesting things about the capstone is that we have, you are placed in a real world experience the last semester. You're either going to be placed in a governmental agency or working in a nonprofit organization. But also aside from that, I encourage you with this program and as a high school senior, and it was mentioned before, definitely take advantage of all the volunteer opportunities that are available for you here in the Valley. There's a lot of really great nonprofits doing some great work and also the government agencies as well. So definitely take advantage of that. And I'll offer myself up as a resource to you if you want some more information on that, because it's very important, me as an instructor, to definitely pair the book part of it, the practical with the practical as well. And so we have the capstone here, but also in whatever area you chose to go into, definitely expose yourself to that. And that way you'll know for sure, yes, this is definitely what I want to do, or you know what, this is not, I don't think this is going to work out for me. And how are you going to find that out? Through volunteer work. So definitely take advantage of that. Expose yourself to as much as you can. And this is just a list of our public administration advisory committee. This is the programs that are offered. It's not something that I'm going to offer these programs. It was actually, we have an advisory committee made up of the city managers here in the Valley. And they're the ones that we met and we decided this is what needs to happen. We also have input from RGV as well, the public affairs department. And so that the courses that are being offered, they were recognized as high need areas in the area of government and nonprofit. So those are the ones that make up our committee. We have city managers and directors that work in the area of public administration, whether it's in governmental agencies or whether it's in nonprofits. So just know that these courses that we offer have a lot of input from our local government leaders and our local nonprofit leaders as well. Okay. And so we have the loop. So we definitely, again, we have the industry input from our city managers. And just want to give just a quick general on how to apply for STC. Some of you may already be in dual enrollment. You go to applytexas.org to apply. And the certificate does not require that you be TSI complete. So just know that the certificate in public administration is something that you can jump straight into. And we have the advising, also the FAFSA. All of this is available to you, where our student services is there to help you, whether it's virtual or whether you want to go in person. Okay, so definitely know that we're here to help you through the application process. And also I serve as an academic faculty advisor for this program. So definitely I'm available to you for any questions that you may have. Okay, and this is my contact information that you can see. And so I'll take any questions right now before I just give you a little background information on myself.
Yeah, don't see any questions, Ms. Lucio.
Okay, so again, one of the things about this program is I have my master's in public administration, and I've worked in a lot of areas in government and also in nonprofit. As I mentioned before, I work for Parkland Hospital as a development specialist. I also work for a federal agency, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I also worked in the state legislature up in Austin. So definitely know that it runs the gamut, that whatever it is that you want to go into, there's something in it in public administration for you. Project management, there's a big emphasis now with a knowledge-based employee, where you begin a project from beginning to end. And that's what we offer you with this program here in public administration. And so also the soft skills are very important. Challenge yourself to, I think what the attorney Solis, he mentioned earlier, how expose yourself to public speaking, because the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with it. And I do that as well with my children. Right now, I have them involved at the elementary and middle school level to challenge themselves with public speaking. So because the more comfortable you become with it, the better you become in it. So definitely encourage you. Also, the counselor mentioned all the soft skills. That was a great rundown of all the soft skills that were mentioned. Expose yourself to all that, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Lucio, for that great information in regards to what SDC has to offer in regards to public administration. One of the things I got from you is stackable credentials, very important. Learning how to stack those credentials and move forward within your career and your education. So a lot of great and great leaders started by stacking credentials and moving up their increasing their opportunity for advancement within their place of employment. So thank you so much for providing that. Next up from South Texas College, we have Ruben Garcia and Eduardo Pastor talking about their paralegal program. So the floor is yours.
I'm going to share my screen similar to the other presenters. In making this presentation, again, I'm also doing it with Mr. Eduardo Pastor, who's been at the paralegal program for longer than I have. My presentation actually is called The Journey to Law School Begins at South Texas College. Mr. Pastor, if you could just go ahead and give us a little overview of the program itself, just from your perspective.
Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Ruben. Thank you for the invitation. With great pleasure, I decided to be here today because it's a great opportunity for our students and the community to see what we have to offer. We have practically a 2-year associates in applied science here at the program. We're both faculty in the program, Mr. Garcia and myself, and we teach classes with an associate's in applied science. It's a 2-year program, 60 credits. We have classes where the students can hit the ground running from the beginning. They can they can learn paralegal skills from the beginning when they start. They can take classes like Introduction to Law. They can take legal research and legal writing. It is one of the most important fundamental skills, the research and the writing. So we believe that the students should be able to have the opportunity to start from the beginning to start learning those skills. It is 15 hours of academic credits that can be transferable into a college or university. And the rest of the classes are purely practical skills in the law. And the students take classes, like I said, in legal research and legal writing, but they also take classes in other areas, such as torts, contracts, family law, criminal law, and just to name a few, business law, business organizations, and so forth. It is a program that through the years has developed the opportunity also for students. Now we decided that we needed something else. We needed something else called the OSHA, not the OSHA, the Occupational Skills Awards. We have two areas on those. And that's something that the student can get from the start. These Occupational Skills Awards are in areas like family law and immigration law. Through the years, as I was trying to get to at the beginning, the students came to us asking us, "Hey, sir, what can we do? I'm working at the law practice such and such, and I am in the paralegal program, but I would like to get some emphasis or some concentration in an area that I can specialize." So we came up with this idea of awarding a concentration from the beginning before they even start the paralegal program, or if they're already in the paralegal program, they can get 3 or 4 classes and get a concentration from the department, and then market themselves better in whether they're already in the job or they're planning to while they're continuing with the program. And the emphasis there is to finish the 2 years associates in paralegal, which, talking about stackable credentials, these 4 classes that they take at the beginning, they're stackable into the associates in paralegal. And then we have a fantastic bachelor's program here at STC where they can continue their education if they decide that they want to continue in further on into law school as well. So we have the components there available. And that's in a nutshell what our program is about. We have been I've been teaching for 12 years in the program. And we have a fantastic faculty like Mr. Garcia also, who brings a lot of experience into these areas that I mentioned, like immigration and family law as well as others. With that, I'll pass it on to you, Mr. Garcia, if you want to continue. So I know
Sure.
you have.
Thank you. So so the journey really to law school consists of creating really, like Ms. Lucio said, these pathways. Mr. Solis mentioned also that there are these steps to become an attorney, and the first one really begins with being able to obtain your bachelor's degree. Mr. Pastor mentioned that the paralegal program is an associate's degree, but it can be rolled over into something called Bachelor's of Applied Science for Organizational Leadership. And it allows you, or the student, to actually obtain the bachelor's degree, which then takes into step number 2, which is the LSAT. LSAT stands for Law School Admissions Test. I think it's 120 to up to 180 in range. The higher, obviously, the more prestigious the law school. But that doesn't matter. It's a matter of grit, drive, energy. Once a person goes to law school and graduates from law school, then the 4th step is to take the bar exam. So as Pastor mentioned, right, the paralegal program is a 2-year program that prepares students for entry-level positions as a paralegal, but that also opens a pathway for them to go into the law field. Careers for STC graduates range from about 2 years ago, a student was placed with Texas Attorney General's office. Recently, another student was placed with the Criminal Defense Attorney's office in Mission, and then with private attorneys. Again, the function of the paralegal program is to provide these students, is to arm them, right, with knowledge, skills, and really the ability to creatively solve these problems with the supervision of their attorney. The basic legal principles, again, are that they are applicable, like someone said, they hit the ground running the moment they end up graduating. So the paralegal program in reality is really the foundation to legal knowledge, training, and analytical skills. And like, as I mentioned earlier, the paralegal program, in theory, can be rolled into something that allows them to get their bachelor's. One of the best bachelor's program that SCC offers is this basal program, right? Which, of course, it's 60 credit hours, right? The forms the associate, but 38 form are actually the core of it is within the paralegal program. And again, the ability, it starts with, or the notion of getting on that journey starts with the ability to take action. So firstly, I'll tell students, enroll for spring 2022 paralegal courses. There's the information. And if they want to locate more information through the basal program or through myself or Mr. Pastor, give us a call or email us, and we'll get them started on that journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that great information. Looks like you all are definitely helping place students in some very important roles. So look forward to continued students to be able to take advantage of this and have great careers. So thank you, Mr. Garcia and Mr. Pastor, for your presentation. Next up, we have from Texas Southmost College, talking about criminal justice, the Institute, Willemina Edwards.
The Criminal Justice Program at Texas Southmost College gives you all of the courses that are required by the state of Texas so that you are ready and prepared to have your license. And once you have successfully completed that, you are eligible to become a peace officer in the state of Texas. This program will offer the cadet experience. It gives them some practical application of all the academic things they will learn, like the laws, the legal process, whether it's civil, whether it's criminal. They get the opportunity to work with trainers and instructors from some of the local agencies.
Slide over, then fire how many? On the ground, do it now! I'll say he's down!
I currently serve as the presiding officer for the advisory board for the Criminal Justice Institute at Texas Southmost College. We see locally raised students have an opportunity to attain a basic peace officer's certification course without them having to leave town. TSC, Criminal Justice Institute, is a resource to the law enforcement agencies. The majority, if not all of the cadets that were interviewed, and then some that were later hired by this department, came from the Criminal Justice Institute at TSC. And I can see that the product that they were putting out, that the quality of the cadet was very high.
I understand you are a recent graduate of our Texas Southmost College Police Academy. Tell me about that.
I would say it's more like a family bonding. With most of the cadets in the academy, I still keep in touch with them.
It's an 8-hour training for 6 months. These are people you bond with. These are going to be your partners. These are going to be your maybe one day sergeants, chiefs, lieutenants, and just the simple fact that we're already forming that bond here and having to study together. That in itself has been amazing, because not only do you get an experience for yourself as in learning and you become an officer, but you get to build these bonds with other officers or future officers that are going to be graduating with you.
I've always wanted to do this since being a little kid. My dad is in law enforcement, so I guess seeing him get ready for work every day, and as a kid, I just thought it was really awesome.
And don't let anything stop you. People might tell you you're a girl. Why should you be doing this? You're supposed to stay at home. You're supposed to do girl stuff. Hey, this is girl stuff too.
And for people who feel like intimidated as to coming to the academy, it's really not once you break it down. If you have the right mindset and you're willing to put in the work, then you can do it.
To someone who's curious about law enforcement or starting a career in law enforcement, what I would say first is to do a little research. Go to your local agency and ask, can you observe, ride around, sign up to ride with officers in patrol to see if you're interested. And then if you find that you are, I would say come to Texas Southmost College and talk to our staff to get the specific information that you need to apply to the academy.
I know that video kind of plays like the Fast and the Furious. I am the director of the Criminal Justice Institute, and we run 2 police academies during the day each year and 1 at night that runs for a full year because it's part-time. Just like one of the other programs mentioned earlier, you have to be 20 and a half in order to register into the program. So those of you who are recent high school graduates, we have an academic program that you can start before you enter the police academy in order to get information and topical data on criminal justice. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can email us at the Institute. You can email me directly or the Criminal Justice Institute website and ask questions on how to prepare for entering the police academy, what courses and what direction you need to go into in order to make that happen.
All right, Miss Edwards, definitely appreciate you. The video was amazing. I was watching it on YouTube. I know you're asking if we could hear it, but on YouTube, we could actually hear it. And very well put together and talked about, the basics of what you have to offer here and the brotherhood behind the badge. So thank you for all you do to prepare our law enforcement. We definitely appreciate you being with us today. And if there's any questions throughout the coming moments here, we'll definitely reach out to you and let you know. So thank you, Miss Edwards. You have a great day.
And you too. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have from South Texas College, switching to the education and training from the education department. We have Dr. Ramírez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay. I will begin. My name is Juan Ramírez. I chair the education department here at South Texas College, and I'm here to talk about the 3 associate degrees that we offer in education and the articulation agreements that we have with some universities. So our associate's degree is 60 hours. It's a 60-hour coursework. If you're in high school, take advantage of the dual credit programs because you can take all of the core courses, all the basics in high school. Even the introduction to education and the special education course that we offer here at the college, most of the high schools offer it. So this is a very good program, so take advantage of the dual credit. Okay, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have 3 associate degrees. We have an associate's degree in elementary education, which is from pre-K to 6th grade, generalist. We have a middle school 4 through 8, and high school, which is grades 8 to 12. The next slide, I'm sorry, the phone call distracted me. So these associate degrees are fully transferable to all Texas public universities. So the quality of courses, the quality of education that you get from South Texas College is a world-class education, world-class faculty and staff. So that's why our courses are fully transferable to all Texas public universities. And with our program, you graduate for complete. So that means that you finish your basics as part of the program. We have articulation agreements with 3 universities. We have an articulation agreement with Texas A&M University, Kingsville. So this program is gaining popularity because students can earn a bachelor's degree in elementary education with teacher certification from A&M Kingsville in West Lacoa, their citrus center. So this program is gaining popularity because the program is hybrid and some students can graduate in 1.5 years after they graduate from STC. The second articulation agreement that we have is with the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Each university has its own requirements. The only thing that changes is the science courses that you have to take. And the science courses and all the coursework that you have to take with us as part of the associates, it will be part of your certification exam. So the two biologists, the two biologists for UTRGV, the two physical sciences, or the two physical sciences and the geology and biology for Kingsville are important because that will be part of your content certification exam for elementary teachers, okay? The third articulation agreement that we have is with Texas Women's University. This program is fully online. So you complete your transfer track here from here at STC with for Texas Women's, and you have an easy transition to their program. It's co-ed, so both men and women can apply. And this is also gaining popularity among our students, especially those who work full-time, right? So this is a very, very good opportunity. This is our most recent articulation agreement with Texas Women's. This is our degree work. This is our transfer plan. As you can see, it's just the basics. You can see which courses come from the core, and the courses that you see in green, those are your field of study. This is for elementary education. So they're pretty much alike, you know, both UTRGV and Texas Women's and Kingsville, but there are some slight differences with the science courses that are required students to take. So there is a need for teachers, like Ms. Gomez from Vanguard Academy says, you know, we need teachers. So there's a lot of opportunities in education, and it's for 0 years of experience. If you start teaching at 21, 22, you know, it's very good money, right? So there is a need. Here's the salaries for teachers in the lower Rio Grande Valley. Hidalgo, Star, and Willacy counties. So from $54,000 to $56,000 a year with 0 years of experience. So that is a very good salary. Here's locally within Hidalgo County. Right now, I think the highest paying school district is La Joya and Dan ISD, right? So there's a lot of opportunities in education. So you can become a counselor, you can become a principal. You never know what the career will lead you to, but please take advantage of our program if you plan to become an educator. We have awesome articulation agreements for elementary. We also have articulation agreement with UTRGV for the middle school and the secondary program. It's a very good program because we graduate most of the students from most of the associate's degrees from STC come from the education department and the criminal justice department. So our department is very important. So if you have any questions, please send me an email. My phone number is right there, 872-2238 in my email, jr.ramirez@southtexascollege.edu, as long as the other faculty and my secretary's information. All of us are here to help you. If you have any questions, and I would really like to encourage to consider majoring education and keep South Texas College Education Department in mind, okay? Because we're going to prepare you, and we have awesome articulation agreements, and we're working on more. So this concludes my presentation. Are there any questions for me?
I don't see any questions in the chat for YouTube. Dr. Ramirez, definitely appreciate the information you shared. Looks like you all are doing great work there at excuse me, at South Texas College. And I definitely appreciated you sharing some of the entry-level salaries, you know, to really share with the students. You know, that is it's a well-paying job, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley. Yes. So thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Ramirez. We definitely appreciate you being with us. Next, we are.
Thank you for the invitation.
Not a problem. Next, from South Texas College, we're going to talk to Daniel Cather from the music program.
I'm just thrilled to be here and to get a chance to visit with you today. So I'm chair of the music department here at STC, and just want to let you know a little more about our program. I've been here since 2008, and the department has really grown over the course of that time. So it's really a thriving program. And so let me just screen share here. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about the degree itself, and then there's a short video that hopefully you'll be able to see that I'll share here. So, you know, typically a music major degree sequence ends up looking something like this. We do have articulation agreements also. Our students do transfer to UTRGV and have a seamless transition. They also transition to A&M Kingsville. And we do have students go all over the state. We've had students graduate from UNT and all over the state of Texas, and have really good job placement after they complete their associate's degree and then their bachelor's degree in music. So let me share this video with you. This is going to show a little more about our program.
I come from a musical family, and so I always have known how to play guitar. I found it fulfilling.
I just like the freedom and the creativity. It's been great. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've liked that the professors here have been really willing to work with us.
There's a big sense of community here, and it seems like everybody knows each other. Everybody is there to support you.
You could be a director of like a band at a school or a choir program. You go work in studios. You could become touring artists. You could work with orchestras and symphonies all around the world.
A really supportive bunch of people really want you to succeed, and will be there to help you if you need it. It's something that everybody can relate to and understand. It's something that connects people.
Cool. So that helps you know a little more about our department. I can say that our faculty is world-class. We have graduates from Juilliard, from Northwestern, from the Eastman School of Music. So we're kind of a well-kept secret sometimes in the Valley that our students do especially well. So one of the questions I think was types of careers that our students go into. We have our students go into education pretty heavily also. I remember thinking from last year, seeing on, I think it was RGV Band Director's Facebook page, just a phenomenal number of job openings over the last couple of years. So, you know, the starting salaries, I can kind of piggyback from what Dr. Ramírez shared, are quite good for the Valley, and our job placement is very good. You know, our former students are often featured. For example, Jesus Cervantes was McAllen ISD Teacher of the Year in 2021. So not only do they place into jobs well, but they're highly successful and sought after in that process. And so having great success. This semester, one of our adjunct professors is a returning STC student who has his master's degree from UTRGV and then is coming back to teach for us. So often educators, band directors, elementary music teachers, choir directors. We also have students go into music performance. And also there's quite a lot of part-time work for lessons. So, you know, within the high schools for accompanists and church work, and throughout the Valley of places like Music Academy or Musical Living Academy, Valley Keyboards, we frequently have our students, even right after their associate's degree, jump immediately into working for various teaching music lessons in the Valley as a way to supplement their income as they're completing their bachelor's degrees. So our students have had good success with that. And let's see, so we have a really nice facility here. We're located at Pecan campus in Building L, which is the Cooper Center. We have a 9-foot concert grand piano. We have a piano lab with new Roland keyboards. So it's a really nice space to work. I wanted to share all our performances through the music department are free. So I wanted to kind of share some of those dates with you. We would love to have you come check out our facility, catch a free concert, and see what some of our student ensembles are up to with that. And so in terms of things that students need to be successful as music students, so obviously there's the music side of things, but I think there's a lot of other soft skills as well that musicians need. Music teaches, tenacity, teaches grit, teaches our students to sort of persevere. Our students do well when they have a great work ethic, that even if they don't have the ideal amount of background in music leading into the degree, there's nothing more rewarding than when our students work really hard and have this drive and practice and are able to achieve their dreams with music. I tell students, I'll often have students in my office who are kind of on the fence and they want to do something else, but their heart keeps bringing them back to music. And just I always say there's nothing greater for me than knowing I get to go to work and that work is teaching music. And so there's no price tag, I think, on having joy in what you do and being able to give back and show compassion to our students. So that's what makes it worthwhile for me. And so it's a wonderful career, I think, to go into. Just wanted to highlight a few more things from past concert seasons. So we give a wild amount of concerts any given semester. We have frequent master classes from guest artists around the country. We do have all major instruments represented of piano, guitar, voice, woodwinds, brass, percussion. And so there's a lot of performing opportunities for our students to be featured and get that experience that they need to then be successful as future band directors, choir directors, and so on and so forth. So really a thriving program. Our students do well. And so I hope you'll consider STC as an awesome opportunity if you're interested in music or music education or music performance. And we also get a lot of non-music majors as a final plug that, of course, our main focus is the music majors, but there's no better opportunity to pick up an instrument that you've always wanted to learn for students. We do have non-majors participate in all our ensembles and community members as well. So that's a really fun opportunity. And, music is kind of like a language. It tends to improve, other aspects of academics as well. So improves math skills, improves language skills also. So I think music has a lot to offer. And so I hope you'll consider it. And I'm thankful to be here and have a great day, everybody. Oh, and if you have questions.
We do have one question. How many classes do you have to take, or how long will the course take?
Sure. So it is a 2-year associate's degree from which students transfer, like I said, to UT-RGV or across the state to complete their bachelor's degree in music. Something else that sometimes is confusing through general advising, music students need to start their music classes right away because of the sequence of the courses. So not waiting until you complete the basics, but jumping right into the foundation courses for music right away so that they get the adequate training on the music side that they need.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that. We definitely appreciate you sharing the little known secret here and how well the STC music program is and what you all are doing. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, next we have from Texas Southmost College, the teacher education, Dr. Diana Castro.
Hello, can you all see me, hear me?
Yes, we got you.
All right, perfect. Okay, so I am Dr. Diana Cortez Castro. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for the opportunity to share just some great things about why you would want to go into the field of teaching. I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. I'm going to share a little video and then I'll go into my presentation.
The Teacher Education Program at Texas Southmost College provides students with a foundation in all aspects of teaching. Whether you want to become a paraprofessional or a full-time teacher, this degree can help you accomplish that.
The Teacher Education Program is a very holistic approach to teaching where I really focus on helping the students understand how to learn and how to teach. Once we get that done, then we get into, okay, how do we meet the needs of diverse learners as future teachers? They're going to learn that you develop a growth mindset. You're going to have the ability to be able to see assets and not deficits in all of our students. And that's super, super important.
Once you're in the education program, you learn that there's not just one approach to doing things. There can be a million different ways. You just have to learn how that person learns to be able to guide them through there.
A core part of the Teacher Education Program integrates community engagement and hands-on experience through a variety of local partnerships and events, such as the Doctor and the Children's Play Day.
Play is one of the most important aspects of a child's development. It can develop socially, physically, cognitively. We advocate for play pedagogy, sustainability, and diversity, which are three most important components of our teacher education program.
With an Associate of Arts in Teaching, graduates can expect to be ready for a wide variety of career opportunities.
I would say that an integral part of the faculty here at TSC is that we care, and we transmit that to our students, that regardless of what career they choose, it is important for them to care and that component will make a huge difference in their future careers. Because the answers that I get are always super interesting. And, we'll get things like, well, because we want to be able to learn, or we want to have our students know how to read, know how to do math. And of course, all of those are great answers. But as I think we've been discussing here, all of us who have presented so far, really the overarching purpose to have an education or to be educated is to be an active participant of the community who gives back in some way. Whether you're pursuing a career in education, whether you are going to be working in law, whether you're going to be working in music, it doesn't matter. The point is that you should have the skills, the knowledge, and the dispositions to be able to give back to your community in one way or another. All right, so as everybody has mentioned so far, which is great, it's always great to hear that. Yes, teachers are in demand, they continue to be in demand. And I would say that, during this time of COVID and post-COVID, teachers are more in demand than ever, especially because now, we are so much more comfortable with technology that the opportunities for global opportunities have just increased at an amount that we can't even begin to wrap our head around. In the video, I speak about mindsets, and in my program at TSC as the program coordinator, I really interweave the idea of my students developing a mindset as college students in their personal life and as future teachers. And what does this mean? It basically means that you have to believe that you can learn. You have to believe that it's okay to make mistakes, that we learn from our mistakes. And you have to develop an attitude of, again, this mindset where, I can learn as opposed to I can't learn, right? Or I can't write. I know that some of the presenters have been speaking about writing. So at TSC, I do have an intensive writing program. We do a lot of writing, and obviously because when you can write, that represents that you can think and that you can solve problems and that you can communicate. So mindsets definitely matter. I love this quote. So with great power comes great responsibility. So as educators, we have great responsibility because we're working with diverse groups of students, whether you end up, being in elementary, middle school, high school, or even at the college or the university. We have great responsibility, and that's great power. But the responsibility is to always keep ourselves updated with the changes and with the most effective ways of teaching, and also really interweaving those soft skills as it has been mentioned. So I literally integrate that into the curriculum because I know that if I teach the students about growth mindset and grit and emotional intelligence and so forth, then they're going to be able to do great things like you just saw in that video, like participating in these community events that require so many skills. And so if you want to think whether education is right for you, education is a very diverse field. Many would think that, oh, well, you know, it just means that you're going to be working in a classroom as a classroom teacher. Well, the reality is that that's not true. The field of education can be very diverse. And here are just some ideas. So, yes, you can, with teaching or a bachelor's, you can pursue a career as a teacher in a public school, private, or charter school. You might want to go into administration, so you might be a principal, into counseling, a librarian, a coach. Now there's different types of coaches, even life coaches, right? Fitness instructor, a professor like myself, if you want to teach in higher education. There's also the field of childcare and development. So you can work in, you can own your own center. Sorry, this keeps on moving. You can own your own center or work for Head Start. So these are just some of the choices. Now to this, obviously, I would add the whole gamut of global teaching, right? Where you could definitely teach online for anyone across the world, really. So the opportunities, again, have just grown exponentially. But what do teachers do? This list here is not long enough, but I'll just give you a couple of ideas of what great and excellent teachers do. So teachers inspire, obviously. We want to aspire our students to be the best selves that they are, you know, to be productive citizens, active citizens who give back to the community. We are lifelong learners. We're always learning. We're always updating ourselves. We're role models. We educate. And again, not just on our subject matter, but also on these soft skills and the work ethic and teaching about drive and teaching about responsibility, social responsibility even, which is a huge part of the program at TSC. So we are change agents. We're agents of change. And of course, that growth mindset, which for me has made a world of a difference in the program, because it really helps students to believe that they can learn and that they can improve, and that if they didn't get a 100 on something, it's okay. That means that they just didn't work well enough, or that they didn't have the skills that they needed to, but that those can be developed with hard work and organization and just focus. Some important qualities. We have to care, you know, as I mentioned in that video, we just really have to care. Teachers have to care about their students. They have to care about being intentional. Excellent teachers are creative. Creativity is so important, especially as part of these 21st century skills, where we want students who are able to solve problems, who are able to, you know, be gritty and to be able to work with a diverse population. Great teachers have to be kind, right? Respectful, knowledgeable for sure of your subject matter, but also well-rounded. You have to have drive. You got to have that internal motivation and, again, drive to want to do the best for your students, to create the best learning environment, the best learning opportunities and experiences. You have to have that growth mindset yourself so that you can model that. You have to be resourceful. And what I mean by this is resourceful in your thinking. And number two, resourceful with your materials in class. So using, not thinking, oh, well, I don't have enough money. They didn't give me enough money for materials. Well, no, there's always, you get creative. So for example, my students for the play day at the zoo, the Dr. Seuss and other projects that we do in class, they collect recyclable materials throughout the semester, and these become part of their projects. But then also being resourceful in terms of using the community as the curriculum of the community. So here in Brownsville, we have the Gladys Porter Zoo. That's a great educational resource. So it's a win-win and something for the play day to have the play day, bring people to the zoo to learn, and it helps, you know, the zoo and so forth. So it's a win-win. Patience, communication skills, as everybody has mentioned, both oral and written. TSC, I lead this very rigorous writing program. Do our students like to write? Some of them don't. but it's okay. They have to learn how to write, because when they can write, then they can think. You got to be organized. You got to have grit, positive attitude, both interpersonal and intrapersonal skills. And this basically means that you understand yourself, you can self-regulate yourself, and then you can also work with others. Super, super important. The job outlook continues to look great, whether you're pursuing an early childhood, kindergarten, middle school, or high school. Teachers are in demand. So at TSC, we do have an Associates of Art in Teaching, which is a 2-year program. There are 4 different areas. We have the early childhood through 6th grade, which continues to be our most popular one. The 4th through 8th grade teaching, 8th through 12th with different specialty areas. We have history, social studies, English, language arts, and reading, and then the Spanish early childhood. And these are all early childhood through 12. Early childhood through 12th grade teaching, physical education, associates in art in teaching. As some of our colleagues have already mentioned, at TSC, we also have transition options. So right now we have a full transition program to the UT RGV. So you get your first 2 years at TSC, and then you can transfer to UT RGV with all those credits in place. Again, the articulation agreement. And we are currently working on one with Texas A&M with TAMUK, but the one with UTRGV is already in place. So I wanted to share a little bit of what we do in the program, and I really strive for interweaving active learning. What does active learning mean? It means that students aren't passive, so they're not just sitting and hearing me lecture. We do, but it's more of an interactive lecture. We do a lot of hands-on learning. So high impact practices, active learning, experiential learning. So learning through experiences, play pedagogy is a huge part of the curriculum. And basically I believe that all students can learn through play, because in play you have to be active. There's service learning and cooperative learning as well. And again, community partnerships with the zoo. We have our capstone project at an associate level, which is our play day at the zoo. And basically the purpose of the play day is to advocate for children's right to play, but we're also promoting cultural diversity and sustainability. And so students get to learn how to teach and work with diverse learners, because they're actually teaching an activity through play. And they get to engage in a service learning project. They get to work with a diverse population. And as you can see, they're using recyclable materials. All of these are made out of recyclable materials, and they're teaching through play, so hands-on learning. These are all the different games, and there's the sustainability component, more pictures. And then we also participate in the Dr. Seuss Festival. This is another huge event that falls under the Child Care and Development Program. But the Teacher Education Program, we have a huge participation in it. And basically it's, the idea is to teach literacy through play. So students get to create play and literacy centers. And here are some of the activities for the teacher education students for the Dr. Seuss Festival. We also get to go to local conferences, and here's me with the students. So we do a lot of research and actual hands-on experience in the community, right? Also the teacher workshop at the zoo. Here we are on a Saturday. And these are just their presentations on intercultural literacy center. So that, and again, recyclable materials. Very creative. Creativity is a huge part of the program, as you can see. And then we also have a club, the Teacher Education Play Advocate, which focuses on advocating for play, pedagogy, sustainability, diversity, and equity. And I began that in 2018. And we partner up with other programs, such as the criminal justice. This was we did a flipped classroom activity where students got to go and attend the Law Enforcement Expo, and they had to look at different social issues in education and see how that would tie into the education, such as, for example, immigration or what would be domestic violence and so forth. So that connection. All right, questions, comments?
Don't have any questions, Dr. Castro. I definitely appreciate you being with us. We want to get to our next speaker, Veronica Canfield from Texas Tech University. Definitely appreciate you being with us, and the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Canfield. I am the Assistant Director for Recruitment at Texas Tech University. I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. I am with the Office of Undergraduate Admissions at Texas Tech, and I'm really glad to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Let me share my presentation here really quickly. And to get started, I'm going to share just a really quick video that shows you a little bit about what Texas Tech University has to offer and all that we're about. Awesome. So I hope that video excites you as much as it excites me. It's a great video to tell you a little bit about Texas Tech University and what we have to offer. Sorry about that. Let me move to the next slide. I just want to first and foremost let you know that I'm here to represent Texas Tech University as an institution of higher education and where you can pursue a lot of the programs that a lot of individuals on this call were speaking about today. But I also want to share with you towards the end of the presentation, some resources. If you are wanting to pursue a four-year bachelor's degree or a bachelor's degree at a university across the state or the nation, we are all about pursuing higher education and ways we can help you assist you as you pursue higher education. And so we'll talk a little bit about Texas Tech, but we'll also talk about what it means to have a four-year bachelor's degree. So at Texas Tech University, as of fall 2020, we had over 40,000 students on campus, 40,322 to be exact. Fall 2021, we had 40,666 students. We had a 19-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and Texas Tech University is a tier 1 research institution. So what that means is from the moment that you step foot on campus, you'll be involved in undergraduate research. As of fall 2021, our average GPA was also a 3.6. Texas Tech University has over 10 academic colleges with over 150 undergraduate degree programs. I know we're short on time, so we don't have time to go over every single major at Texas Tech, but I will drop a link to our view book, a document that I would hand out to you if I were to be able to be with you in person there today. We do have our School of Law. I know a lot of individuals spoke on law school opportunities, as well as legal profession opportunities, education, so on and so forth. We have over 150 undergraduate degree programs to choose from: art and education, business engineering, law, health sciences, and so much more. You'll also see our fall 2021 classes, our first veterinary medicine class for fall 2021. We have our very own School of Veterinary Medicine, and then our Health Sciences Center that's very popular as well. So I kind of want to get into what's required to apply to a university. At Texas Tech University specifically, we require an application, which is Apply Texas, Common App, or Coalition, and then a $75 application fee or fee waiver. We can determine your fee waiver eligibility through your FAFSA or TASFA. Creating a Rater Connect account and submitting a self-reported academic record is also required. Some schools you'll see that they do require a high school transcript. Texas Tech University requires a self-reported academic record. And what that is a translation of all of your courses and grades onto the self-reported academic record system, along with SAT and or ACT scores. We are test optional for fall 2022, and then our priority scholarship deadline is December 1st. So with that all being said, a lot of institutions have very similar requirements, but if you are looking to pursue higher education, a university and or college, be sure to check out what is required. I always tell students, work smarter, not harder. If you know that your institution that you're applying to is going to require you to submit an application, either the Common App Coalition or Apply Texas, create a chart. See the schools that you're interested in applying to and what schools accept what application, so on and so forth. Here you'll see a little bit about our assured admissions requirement based off class rank, ACT and or SAT score. And then just a reminder here, we are test optional for fall 2021 and fall 2022. Students who would like to have their application holistically reviewed will look at all this information listed here below. And we can find out this information through your application, letters of recommendation, essays, so on and so forth. This kind of breaks down a little bit about supplemental items that you can submit for the application process as well. And you'll see that all there on your screen. And then finally, I just want to kind of add a little bit about visiting Texas Tech University. Here you'll see, if you go to visit.ttu.edu, you'll see all of our virtual admissions presentations. You're also going to see how to set up a campus visit. But with all of that being said, if you're pursuing higher education or you're wanting to visit universities, check out their websites, get involved, talk to the representatives. I'm actually here in Austin, Texas. Our main campus is in Lubbock, Texas, but your admissions counselor in the Rio Grande Valley is Javeli Barasa. And so that's just representative of Texas Tech, but in your community, you have many members representing different organizations, different universities and or colleges that can help you through this process. I also encourage you to lean in and utilize resources at your high school. Make sure you're checking out when college fairs are going to take place, or reaching out to your college and career counselor, attending different events so you can have assistance filling out your FAFSA or TASFA. Many representatives from all over the state come to visit high schools all over the state. And so I'm sure if you connect with your college and career counselor on campus, you'll have an opportunity to speak with these individuals in person, and they can give you some really great insight as to what the application process requires for the university and or college that you're going to attend. I know that was really quick. I just wanted to kind of be able to tell you a little bit about what Texas Tech University has to offer. I hope that by seeing a little bit about Texas Tech University, it sparks your interest in Texas Tech specifically, but also sparks your interest in connecting with universities and or colleges all over the state and nation to pursue your higher education in the future. I really thank you for your time, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. I'll also be dropping our view book and my contact information.
Yeah, Veronica, thank you so much. They will get your contact information as we have it. As far as the drop in the chat, drop it. We'll share it over to the YouTube so they can have access to that. Definitely appreciate you being with us. It's great to know that we have a lot of major, universities that have representation throughout, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley, just like you mentioned. So if you're interested in Texas Tech University and you want more information, there is a representative that serves the Rio Grande Valley specifically to help you make that decision, whether it's Texas Tech, University of Texas, UTSA, University of Houston, any college, Texas A&M, obviously, there's opportunities out there. So thank you so much, Veronica, for being with us.
Of course. And I'll drop our view book in there. And then I'll also drop information about the South Texas Area Regional Network. And what that is a group of universities and or colleges that work closely with South Texas Valley high schools and community colleges as well. So I'll also drop in their contact information because they are a great resource in connecting with universities all across the state and nation in your area. So thank you so much for having us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for being with us.